Well, folks, just when we thought Casey DeSantis was out of the Florida's gubernatorial election in 2026, we now have comments from her from yesterday that spark a much different tone than someone who is not running for political office. As we know, President Trump has already endorsed Representative Byron Donald in this race, but DeSantis appears to be gearing her a win to retake her husband's seat that he's held for the last 8 years. Now, but before we get into this, if you enjoy the content we put out, drop down below, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you never miss another video from us again in the future. That really helps support our channel here. So, at a press conference yesterday, a reporter asked the First Lady if she was exploring to run to replace her husband, responding, and I guess we can just listen to it right here, and hear what she had to say for herself.
Oh, shoot.
And if so, what your pitch is to voters about your qualifications?
Well, I would say one thing, to quote the late, great Yogi Berra: when you come to a fork in the road, take it.
You guys can read in that what you want. Look, I mean, I think that I've had people coming up to me for years begging to get her in the fray because I think you see with her presentation. I mean, she's passionate, she's articulate, she's smart, she's got rock solid values. I remember Rush Limbaugh, late great friend of mine, and he was always upset because he thought that the spouses pulled the office holder to the left. And he said, with Casey, I don't have to worry about that. She's more conservative than you. And I think what she's done on this has been really inspirational. For just how she handled the cancer has been inspirational to people. But then to parlay that into programs that are actually helping people and saving lives.
Well, you heard it there from the First Lady of Florida and the current governor of Florida right now, Ron DeSantis. The way Ron is speaking, the current governor, talking about his wife, that, I'm not going to be surprised if in the next couple weeks she decides to jump in this race here. Now, of course, this was held at a ceremony at the Florida International University Academic Health Center where they were highlighting funding that went towards cancer research. And as I'm sure you all know, and DeSantis said in here, Casey DeSantis had her own battle with breast cancer and has since been declared cancer-free for about 2 or 3 years now. And we all know. Let's just acknowledge the reality of the situation here. In Florida politics, it is very well known that Casey DeSantis is one of Ron's closest advisors and would continue on the DeSantis legacy in Florida. We have heard from many, many Trump supporters that they would back DeSantis over Donalds in a primary if she were to jump in the race. I believe there was even some polling that it came out saying she was the most favorable of like 5 or 10 different contenders that could potentially run in for this seat here. But that does not mean she would necessarily win the GOP primary. I just think she would have a good shot. Obviously, DeSantis is jumping in, trying to, I should say the governor is putting good words out there for his wife, almost kind of teeing this up as if she's going to come in and just smack this one out of the park. So we're going to see. But as First Lady, she tackled many issues such as child welfare issues and child behavioral health issues in children as First Lady. Obviously, we know that's more of a ceremonial role, and they try and help those initiatives, which they're able to bring light to certain initiatives that maybe wouldn't have got that light had she not put the spotlight on it. Now, although she has not officially jumped in the race at this point, there have been many reports that show she is seriously considering it. Reportedly, there's been a group of Republican donors that have been privately urging her to run in the 2026 election, or at least to stop, think about it, and listen to what the people have to say, the donors, the voters. What do they have to say about her running or potentially being the next governor of the state of Florida? Now, obviously, we know her husband will have been in office for 8 years at the end of his term here in 2026. And for those 8 years, he completely revolutionized the state of Florida as a GOP stronghold. Revolutionized. Ron DeSantis came in. Let's just get this straight. Ron DeSantis came in 2018. He came in, won it against was it crack or meth? I don't remember what this guy was on, but Andrew Gillum, and won the vote by about 30,000 votes. when there was over 8 million ballots cast in a midterm. 8 million casted. It's just insane. 8 million votes casted, and he won it by about 30,000. He went on to what he did so good in his first 2 years, and then the second 2 years with COVID, which I think COVID is what really shot him to the top, because he was on the next level with COVID. This guy was there standing for our freedoms, making sure to hold people like Biden and Anthony Fauci. We're going to hold them accountable. We're not going to let them dictate what public policy is. In Florida, at least. Went on to win the 2022 election by like 1.5 million votes. 30,000 to 1.5 million. It's like, he is very popular. The DeSantis legacy is very, very popular in Florida right now. And, you know, his wife could potentially, and I think she'd be good in her own right, but would potentially be a proxy for him to continue his legacy in Florida politics. You know, they are very close advisors, so it's almost certain to say that DeSantis, Ron, would be a very close advocate and advisor for and surrogate for Casey DeSantis, which could really indefinitely cement him in Florida politics. Not even just GOP politics, like across the board. This guy is just on a different level. Now, we already know that in a recent poll, the University of Northern Florida Public Opinion Research Lab found that 57% of Republicans have a favorable opinion of her. And among all respondents, independent, Republican, and Democrat, she had a 30% approval, or 30% of those people approved of her. Now, as we know, Trump has already endorsed Byron Donald for this seat. Trump most likely endorsed this candidate to avoid a messy primary in Florida and really to stop DeSantis from choosing his succession plan. You know, that, you know, you're a really, really popular governor of a really, really big state. You want to continue your legacy on, and I think Trump's coming in trying to stop that. Obviously, they have, you know, Matt Gaetz publicly expressed interest. I have a hard time seeing him jumping in this race here for governor, especially with Byron Donalds in here. I can see DeSantis jumping in, but I can't see Matt Gaetz jumping in. I could be wrong. That's just my personal feeling here. But if I'm being honest, I think Casey DeSantis would be a much stronger. I would be okay with Byron Donalds, like I've said in my other video. He's not my first choice, but I think he would be a okay governor. He may be. I don't think he would be better than Ron DeSantis. I think it would be a step down. But I also don't know if Casey DeSantis would be a step up. I think it would be a continuation. You know, would that mean we are continuing at the rate we were under current Governor DeSantis? I don't know. But we know Byron Donalds. He's a Trump loyalist, and this could easily turn into a proxy war between Trump and DeSantis for the future of the GOP. And to be honest with you, I think nationwide Trump could win, but in Florida, I think DeSantis has a really good shot of winning this proxy if it turns into a proxy war in Florida. I'm just saying, she does have Casey DeSantis, lack of political experience, which could help or hurt her. I think it could hurt or help her either way. It's like, people like fresh faces, no political experience. They're not part of the establishment, but also to have that understanding. And I think with Ron DeSantis, he had a deep understanding of how the executive branch operates. He came in, gutted before he was gutting the government, the executive branch, before it was popular to do that. Trump has come in and absolutely is trying to gut the executive branch with all the waste, fraud, abuse, and the fat. Well, that's what Ron DeSantis did. He came in, and it's like almost the same playbook. He came back in 2018, basically fired anybody he could and appointed loyalists to different positions to make sure that, when he signs an executive order or he has the legal authority over something, that's going to get done. It's going to get done. But we all know that Casey DeSantis, she is no stranger to the cameras, to being in the public eye. She was an anchor at a local channel in Florida, WJXT, in Jacksonville. I'm just not going to be surprised if she jumps in, and I almost want her to jump in at this point. I think she could be a great candidate and a great governor. I think with her and Ron DeSantis, that could be a great duo, governor advisor role that you have there that could really, like I said, cement the DeSantis legacy in Florida politics for years and years and years and years. And that's what this is all about. We want to make sure that Florida stays a Republican stronghold, and they continue to be the shining light on the top of the hill for GOP states, and for all states for that matter, to look at and like, that's how you get stuff done. This is how you govern. This is how you get SHIT done. It's just as simple as that. So we're going to see what happens. I'm really hoping that she jumps in the race. I'll just leave it there. I hope she jumps in the race here because her husband is term limited, cannot seek re-election. Let's see what happens. Let's go all out. But that's going to wrap things up for today. Drop down below, hit that like, subscribe button if you like this video you put out. Don't miss another video from us again in the future, and we will catch you next time, folks.